Broadcasting from the C lot of Jones C. Edwards Stadium, the ThunderCast is here with all the sights and sounds of game day. We are your tailgate. I got all our notes here from the preview. Broadcasting from the C lot of Jones C. Edwards Stadium, the ThunderCast is here with all the sights and sounds of game day. We are your tailgate destination. We are your fan base amplification. We are the ThunderCast, and we are live.
Welcome to another ThunderCast Live, powered by IgniteLink. Russ here with Jed, who owns IgniteLink. Jed, thanks for making all this possible as usual.
Yeah, it's had a little bit of technical difficulties there. You all hopefully did not see that joining the live stream late, but
Hope
hey,
they
we're
didn't hear it more than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got everything up and running now. We are here in the C lot of Jones C. Edwards Stadium on yet another beautiful sunny day. Great day for some football, Russ.
Yeah, we're here, but KD is here on camera, but he's coming to us remote from Tampa. KD, what's up?
Another gorgeous day down here in the Sunshine State. I am once again jealous to tell that I can't be in Huntington, West Virginia, because I have seen a lot of former players on Twitter posting that they are back in town. So I'm a little jealous. Plus, I wanted to be hanging out with you guys and go watch a good football game here inside the stadium here in a little bit.
Yeah, beautiful day, but I cannot believe it is October the 18th, and we're having to put things up to cool the laptop down. It's so damn hot out here. Around 78 to 82 degrees. I know it's a big swing, but it all feels the same. It's beautiful weather, but unseasonably hot for October football at the Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. Woke up this morning and walked outside, and it was frigid. It was like sweatshirt, sweatpants weather, and now if I had sweatpants and a sweatshirt on, I'd be sweating to death. So definitely warm, but hey, we'll take it.
Before we get into football talk, because I want to have KD chime in with a little bit of an update here. We're here tailgating on the C lot. If you're in the area, come by. We've got Bill Johnson Catering has his smoker up. Bill and Alan are over here, and they've got pulled pork, pulled chicken, mac and cheese, baked beans, stuffed smoked sausage links off the smokers, smoked hot dogs. They've got all kinds of sides. We've got cookies and all kinds of things for dessert, but there's still plenty of it. There's still plenty of water over here in the cooler, and whatever you bring goes into the cooler too. Come by. It's a great time. Landscaping by Hillcrest makes all that happen. KD, you have an update on the availability report. Let's hear it.
Yeah, pretty much nothing has changed from the guys that we saw on the injury report on Wednesday. Nobody that appeared on the injury report has been upgraded to available or questionable or anything. The only change to the injury report for Marshall is there has been an addition. Another offensive lineman, Peyton Ellis, has been ruled out in this game. So that's now two offensive linemen on the injury report. Morgan Scott, who has been on the report since we saw our first report, and now add Peyton Ellis. The big one, of course, no upgrade in status for running back Mike Allen, but of course Joshawn Barbie is a go in this one. The only other notes that we have to talk about is for Texas State. They had, if you remember, 11 total guys appeared on the injury report. 9 of those were labeled as out. None of those guys have been upgraded, and that includes defensive back, second leading tackler on the defense, Ryan Nolan, still out in this game. The other 2 gentlemen that were questionable have both been upgraded. Defensive lineman J.P. Dieter is listed as available. Offensive lineman Justin DeLeon is a game-time decision.
Okay.
Everybody else remains out. So not a whole lot of change on the injury report, but one less offensive lineman in that herd rotation in this game.
And that's Peyton Ellis, he of 210-pound offensive lineman Peyton Ellis, right?
Showed extreme commitment to his craft by gaining 100 pounds of muscle in literal minutes. I mean, that was amazing. He
could not have been an error or a typo. It was more just his commitment to food.
I mean, his commitment to the game, his commitment to the herd, really, unquestioned at this point for what he did and how he got himself in game-time shape just that quickly.
All right, guys, we had this as a relative high-score affair, and not much has changed on that injury report. I am staying right where I'm at, 41-38. I know we'll talk about this much later. You don't have to give yours now. We can do it later on, but I'm still saying this is probably going to be a shootout today. So let's talk a little bit about why we think this may be, or I think this may be a shootout at 41-38. They're scoring 36 a game. They're giving up 29.8 a game. We're 34.3-ish a game, I think it is, and we're giving up a very similar 29.8 a game. It looks like if our defense can perform like they did last week, it won't be as high scoring. Otherwise, this is going to be an absolute dogfight on the offense. Let's hear what you guys have to say.
Well, nothing's really changed for me either. The addition of one offensive lineman to the injury report doesn't change anything for me. I still think this is going to be a relatively high-scoring game. You're still going to have to take into account the explosive offense of Texas State. They still have a very dangerous run game. We're going to have to stop that. We're going to have to limit quarterback Brad Jackson and his dual threat capability. None of that has changed because one offensive lineman has appeared on the injury report for the herd. I still like this to be a little bit more of a high-scoring affair. I can't get quite as high as Russ. I like it to still be 38-30 herd, so still pretty high-scoring. But I mentioned this in the preview. It still stands to reason in my brain that Tony Gibson calling the plays and what we saw in this defense last week accounts for one full touchdown for me to come off the board.
That's fair.
And we also pointed to the fact that Texas State is not very good at creating turnovers, and the herd is. So I still feel like we're going to get 1 or 2 today, which will also take 3 to 7 points off the board. Did that not happen, I'd be right up there where Russ is. But I'm 38-30, and I think it's higher scoring, but I like the herd by 8 in this one.
Ted?
Yeah, I don't see this as high scoring, but kind of the range of scoring is going to be probably similar. But I'm feeling more 35-24 is what I'm thinking. They've got, I think with Tony Gibson calling the plays and the points that we've had against us, I think those numbers are a little skewed due to Louisiana and some of these other things and those high-scoring affairs. I don't see that one be. I'm not seeing our defense allowing as many points today as Texas State has been scoring so far this season. But I see the herd making a dominant showing today. 35-24 is my prediction.
All right, and KD mentioned here about the lack of turnovers created by this Texas State defense. Extremely valid. Anyone looking at this data, it's going to point to that. They have exactly 1 interception through 6 games. They have 0 forced fumbles. Even more amazing to me, they have 0 fumble recoveries. You would think that one would just bounce your way. A gimme. They haven't had it. So exactly 1 turnover through 6 games. That has to play into everyone's mind and everyone's analytics here. But KD, talk a little bit more about that from the defensive standpoint about what we're looking at today.
It's just a weird thing. It's just a weird stat. They do really well in quarterback sacks and pressures and tackles for loss. It's something what they really are good at that. But this defense to me just seems like they like to limit the damage. They're not going for that stolen possession via turnover. They want to make sure they're limiting the damage per play. Yeah. And that's why you're seeing a lot of tackles for loss. That's why you're seeing a lot of tackles, period.
Yeah.
But no forced fumbles is just such an odd thing. And you're right, Russ. I mean, you don't even have to be trying to strip the football. It's one of those helmet on the ball things. When you're going for a tackle, it just squirts out, and they're not seeing that right now. And one interception, I mean, Jiminy Christmas, we're really thriving in that category. We're thriving in points off of turnovers. So they're not getting any of that, and that's a huge difference that could be in this game.
It's not even that with a helmet to a football or anything like that, but how many times have we seen someone in open field, the ball just squirts out? It's wet, yeah. The ball squirts out. They have not had a single issue with a bad snap or a quarterback rolling out and he tries to throw it and it goes behind him and it's ruled a fumble, a backward pass that they don't catch, a bad pitch. None of it to get a fumble recovery. That has to be a statistical anomaly through 6 games. And we are doing an exceptional job. We are, I think, 8th in the country in takeaway differential right now. And they have to be near the bottom. I know they have only thrown the 1 interception. I don't know how many fumbles they have, but with only 1 1 reception, interception, no fumble recovery, they have to be near the bottom in that, and that has to play in this game.
Your turnover margin has to be horrendous.
Yeah.
If you've got 1 and no fumble recovery, I don't care if you've got 1 fumble, you know. But look, so I said this in the preview. I still kind of believe it. Both things can be true in this one. Both teams are due. CDRW is due to make a bad decision that bites him, and this Texas State defense is due to get a turnover or 2. I just hope it doesn't come in this particular game.
Yeah.
Or both of those don't come in this game.
That's right.
Like, they can get a turnover, but I need CDRW to continue to have a very efficient, very SBC offensive player of the week type performance that we are now accustomed to seeing week in and week out from him. It's just a very, very intriguing thing. Both teams give up a lot of yards. Both teams score a lot of points. So you got to find these little indicators. And right now, we know turnovers are a huge indicator in how a game can swing one way or the other.
Well, let's talk about this herd offense. We've talked about Texas State, but 2 teams are playing here. It doesn't matter how bad someone else's defense may be on points, yards, turnovers. We've got an offense going up against them, and it's a good one. Yeah. So Carlos Del Rio Wilson, since he has taken over, this offense is averaging, I don't have the exacts above me, but it's pretty easy to say.
A lot.
Over 40 points a game for a full game. When you look at his per quarter average, remember, against Missouri State, they put up 31 in the first half. He didn't play in the second half. The next game, they put up 42 points in a full game. The next game after that, they put up 51, but it was 48 after halftime. Is that right? Or is it 41 after? 41 after regulation. We came back. We just scored 48 against ODU, who had a great defense coming into this game. So over 40 points a game is what you can expect right now with the Carlos Del Rio Wilson back offense. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the offense, of course, is very potent under the field general himself, Carlos Del Rio Wilson. Of course, you're seeing a lot of big plays made out of the backfield with several different running backs. It hurts not having Mike Allen back there, but it's great to get Joshawn Barbie back. And you're going to get a lift from guys like Antoine Roberts, Justin Williams-Thomas, and the like. And let's face it, as long as Floyd Lacey continues to be Mr. Electricity, this team's going to put up points and yards.
Speaking of Mr. Electricity, here comes Chris Lane.
Oh, well, hey. But anyway, but no, but you also have to take into account that you've steadily been putting up points on special teams work, and Quins keeps putting them through the uprights. And the last 2 games in a row, we've got defensive scores That's just for you, boss. So we've got defensive scores in the last 2 games as well. So it's not just offense. The defense is also feeding on the scoreboard, just like the offense is. But I want to see more of the same. I said this in the preview. My number 1 key to victory, more of the same, please. Give me a repeat performance of Old Dominion, and nobody beats this Herd team down the stretch.
Yeah, so Micah Allen was huge in that last game, and he's been huge the last few games. But he goes out. In comes Antoine Roberts last week. He does very well. Back off of the injured reserve list is Joshawn Barbie, who we thought were going to be RB1, basically. And I would say before injury, he had the majority of the snaps. So it looks like we're going to be able, from that stable of running backs, to just put somebody right back in. And we've got the wide receivers, especially Mr. Lacey, flying all around everywhere, putting up great stats. Carlos Del Rio Wilson's been great on the ground. He's been great through the air. This offense does not look to miss a beat, even with the unfortunate out for Mr. Michael Allen this week.
Well, that's been one of the great things over the progression of the season is we felt we might have an issue being one-dimensional on offense earlier on, and now that we see that you've got weapons down the field, across the middle, down the side, from the backfield, we can hit you from multiple different angles with multiple different people, and we're doing it very, very well.
Yeah, you can't just game plan for one guy or two guys. It's you've got half a dozen or more guys that can burn the snot out of a defense, and that's a great place to be. And I want to give a shout out here, like live. We haven't done this, I don't think, enough. You got to give a lot of credit to Rod Smith and this offense, because early on we wondered, all right, is it going to translate? Is it going to play? And it turns out we just needed to get some right personnel pieces on the field at the same time, and look what has happened. As soon as CDRW takes over as quarterback, Mike Allen grabs the running back spot, and you see Floyd Lacey start to get more snaps as a wide receiver. This offense literally just took off. And now look at what we're seeing. This is a whole different offense from the first 3 weeks of the season.
Well, it's a great time to point out how our fans, not just ours, but any team's fans, can overreact. And how many people were putting up memes and Photoshop things about Rod Smith and how he was not an offensive coordinator, how he was not the guy, and now they're praising him, right? So it's one of those we talk about all the time on the weekly episodes. You cannot live on the cuff so much of what people tend to do. You know, you overact with one win, you overact with one loss, you overreact if we only have 84 yards rushing. I've seen everything this year. Brother, we were killing it against the rush, and everyone was talking about the 3-3-5 when we were giving up a lot of passing yards, and they were saying 3-3-5 won't work. You know what we're doing wrong. Running the 3-3-5, look how susceptible to the rush it is. It's like we just gave up 74 yards rushing, 72 on one play during this game. And you're saying that it's the 3-3-5 being the problem because it's weak against the rush. It's not. We just gave up 74 yards. You know, so don't overreact. Rod Smith knows more about offense than any of us will ever learn about offense in our lives. That's why he's where he's at. And so it's just one of these, don't overreact. Don't let your game-to-game, play-to-play reactions define what you think about any of your teams you follow.
Right. Well, and it's we got to remember also this is year one. You know, we're at the halfway point through year one. You know, there's going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be some learning from the personnel that we're bringing in, recruiting personnel that came back, then coaches. I mean, it's and you can see, like, I think the. You know, as long as we're avoiding insanity, right? You know, keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. You know, as long as the coaches, the players, and everybody's adjusting and changing and improving, which we've seen over the course of this year, you know, give the guy a break, right?
I've seen a lot of growth in every area, except special teams kind of feels like it's never had a bad time. But offense, defense, I've seen growth even through that Louisiana game. you could still see some of the growth, right?
Yeah.
And I think it all came together last week. And if we have what KD says, more of the same from last week, put anybody in the Sun Belt East, Sun Belt West against us, I like our chances.
Yep.
I think you have to. I mean, look at anybody else left on the schedule finish in a game outside of Georgia. I mean, that's different. But
right.
a conference mate, a peer institution we have not played a game yet to where we have just been beaten from beginning to end. We've done that several times to teams. We've played and won close games, and we've played and lost close games. We're still finding our way. But football season is so looked forward to. People wait on it so much all year long that it's really, really hard to be patient. That's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to be patient. You want to win, and you want to win now, especially coming off the heels of a conference championship. You know you can do that at this school in this conference, and now you want more of the same. That seems to be a running theme, not just in this game, this season. I think we're getting there now, and again, I love Shannon Morrison. Nothing against Coach Tony Gibson calling these plays might be the differentiator in a championship season in Huntington, West Virginia this year, because the offense can go with anybody. They'll go against anybody and put up points and yards.
Yeah, we talked about the parallels between these two teams. Texas State has been up heavy early. We've been up heavy early, and we have crapped the bed on defense, and so have they. So that's one of these things that we're looking at today, kind of like a pre-game storyline. Can we do better than they do better with their defense? So let's talk about our defense these next couple of minutes before we start talking about different things here. But KD, tell us a little bit about what you expect you might see given Tony Gibson calling the plays last week, rest of the season. What do you think we might see today?
So first off, I've got to say that the 3-3-5 to me is a more nuanced defense and harder to learn some intricacies about than your standard 4-3 or 4-2-5 even. It's just a little bit more flexible and nuanced, and it takes a certain level of expertise that, I'll be honest, I don't have. So I'm still trying to figure out things a lot as well. But I think I'm going to see a lot of what I saw last week, which is aggressiveness on the back end. You're going to look to continue. Obviously, you got to stop the run first and foremost. That's number one goal of any defense all the time, unless you're facing a Mike Leach offense and you know you're going to have to face 70 pass attempts. So I think I'm going to see aggressive rush defense. I'm going to see aggressive pass rush. You're going to look to take the quarterback out of the game, not like physically injure him, but like neutralize his skill set, much like they did to Colton Joseph.
That's right.
You want to get him off of his spot, force him to make throws on the run where most quarterbacks are far less accurate, which then opens up things for your dynamic backfield or your dynamic defensive backfield to maybe come down with a ball or two. I think that's what the name of the game is right now, is stop that quarterback from actually absolutely smoking you all game long.
Yeah.
And then try to gang up and stop the running back rate.
Jed, we just went up against a hyper-mobile, great dual threat quarterback in Colton Joseph, and I have to look at the stats between the two. I don't see Brad Jackson being as potent as Colton Joseph. Colton Joseph is more of I'm a threat to score from 60, even 75 yards away with my feet. Brad Jackson has been more that I'm going to score in the red zone with my feet. So yes, he's a dual threat, but I don't feel like he's the dual threat that we just faced and neutralized, like KD just said, against Colton Joseph. So what do you see this defense doing today against Brad Jackson?
Yeah, I see that, we definitely struggle against the mobile quarterback earlier in the season. And to your point about having the 3-3-5 being nuanced and knowing your positions, knowing when to blitz, when not to blitz, who to cover. And I think we're going to see where we were able to do a very, very good job last week containing him. I think we're going to see a lot of similarities this week, if not more so, due to the fact that he is not that big threat to burn you for a touchdown from 50 out. So I think you're going to see some some different combination of blitzes and things like that to put some pressure on him, maybe even force him to run and be ready for it. So I think we're gonna continue the success that we saw last week, and I just see this defense just doing a much better job.
Katie, you got all of our keys to the game up.
Yeah, of course.
All right, my first one, was it neutralize or take out Brad Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is paramount. Bo, what is the receiver, Bo?
Bo Sparks.
Bo Sparks. Bo Sparks, a 5'11", 175-pound receiver, has put up over 500 yards. He's been a threat to the end zone every single game. I think he's got 5 touchdowns. If you take away Brad Jackson throwing to him, you're neutralizing Brad Jackson, you're neutralizing Bo Sparks. They've got another receiver that's done very well as well. Their running backs are the ones that are absolutely killing it, but it's a lot of 50 to 70-yard bursts that are helping them with their numbers and their scoring and things. So it's one of these that you have to be mindful of Brad Jackson. But if you can stop the big chunk plays, you're stopping Brad Jackson, you're stopping the big chunk plays, this offense kind of looks flat. It looks like it's nothing more than him in the red zone with a lot of 9-4-2-9 scores like that with his feet. And then huge chunk plays of 57, 58, 62, 68, 74. If you can stop those, do like Boogie did last week, stop Colton Joseph before he breaks out. This looks like our defense could put up a performance even better than last week that we did against what I feel is a more potent ODU offense.
Well, that's a fair point. You know, you're coming in with a high-scoring Old Dominion offense last week. You hold them you hold them to 10 points for the majority of the game until the defense, until coach calls the dogs off, right? You get the 2s and 3s in there, and then they put up two scores in the latter half of the fourth. But to your point, you eliminate Sparks. I mean, he leads the team in every major receiving category.
Yeah.
And Chris Don Jr. is another short-statured guy, 5'7", 170. You know, these guys are those quick as a hiccup guys that'll make you miss in a phone booth type guys, you know, all the cliches. But so that tells me, like, all right, if you're a little disciplined on that second level, if you're disciplined on that third level, you can limit what they can do to you. And you're right talking about the chunk plays. They've lived and died by the chunk play.
It's the majority of their offense.
If they're getting 6, 7 a game and you can get that down to 2 or 3 a game, this 30-some point per game offense probably turns into an 18-point offense.
That's right.
You know, it's just they just live and die by that so stinking much. Marshall's been susceptible to that a little bit. They really cleaned it up against Old Dominion last week, only giving up, that I can recall, 3 really big chunk plays. So we're trending in the right direction. I use that word a lot now, trending, because Marshall is trending in the right direction. So the other thing that you've got to talk about when you talk about Brad Jackson is this guy is just a redshirt freshman. So those guys do tend to make a mistake or two. He just hasn't really done it. 1 interception so far. So just as CDRW is due to make some bad throws, so is this guy.
Katie,
and we know we've got some. We've got some guys in the back end that can come down with those and then turn those into points.
You just said 3 chunk plays from last week, and here's the ones that I remembered. Colton Joseph, a very long pass in their first possession. What happened at the end of that possession? They didn't score. We stopped them in the red zone on 4th down. Colton Joseph had a very long run, 40-some yards. What happened in that? I'm fairly certain they didn't score. They might have scored a field goal. I can't remember. That was not when they scored their touchdown. They had the very long touchdown where they did score, and that was more of our defensive back took a bad angle, and they just took off after that. If we could have stopped them there, who knows what could have happened. So you're looking at 3 big chunk plays, and they have a total of 7 points on them. If we can do that today, we're talking about limiting them to 3 instead of these 7 or 8. They are not going to be putting up 36 points a game on 3 chunk plays. Their
Right.
offense has just not done that consistently all year. They hopped out to 21-0 against Troy. It was 28-7 after the first quarter, and then they ended up losing 48-41 in overtime. Their offense just stalled in those last 3 quarters in overtime. So give me a great performance by the defense today is really going to severely limit them. I'm still going with they score 41-38. They just can't keep up with us instead of us having to try to keep up with them.
Hopefully. Turnovers are going to be the great equalizer. You know, if they start to turn us over a couple of times, this game doesn't feel that great. But if we play clean ball and are able to get 1 or 2, it feels a hell of a lot better. It starts to look like a really, really convincing win instead of maybe a closer, higher scoring win.
Jed, we've talked a lot football here, but let's talk a little more about this tailgate, and more importantly, what you bring to it. We can't say enough about Jed. Jed shows up and he goes, guys, this is not what I do. But we're sitting here going live.
It is now.
We're going live without a hiccup, thanks to Jed and Ignite Link. And if he can do this when it's not what he does, what can Jed do for you? What can Ignite Link do for you when it is what they do? What that is IT management. And I want Jed in 30 seconds to just sum up what he does for his customers. And the final thing I'm going to say is, we always say, Herd fans love doing business with Herd fans. This guy's here at every tailgate. He's a supporter of Marshall. He's a supporter of NIL. He's a supporter of the Big Green. He's right here in Huntington, West Virginia, 9th Street Plaza is where you can find Ignite Link and his other company, Layer 1 Solutions. Jed, thank you for every single thing that you do for us, the ThunderCast, for everyone watching and listening at home. Every single week. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Happy to be here. Love to be here. It's always a good time, especially if you all have not come to a ThunderCast tailgate. It's always a blast. Great food. Landscaping by Hillcrest is sponsoring that, which of course they're a great company. Check them out. We'll talk a little bit more about them as well. But this is just, there's no place I'd rather be on a Saturday than tailgating here at Jones Edwards Stadium in the C lot. Just a quick synopsis. Ignite Link, it becomes your IT department for your business. As a managed IT service provider, we're providing you everything from virtual chief information officer services, where we come in and we actually help guide you and guide your organization through your technology needs, present and in the future. We're providing cybersecurity, compliance, the networking, the endpoints, the end user training, all those things that you would expect from an IT department at a large corporate organization. We're providing to you as a small, medium, or a large organization as well. So those are the services that we provide, and we make it easy for you. It is a one-stop shop. You give us a call, we come in, we'll have a conversation with you, see what your environment is all about, and then we'll make our recommendations and take you from not doing or using technology to its fullest to making technology work for you and making it a tool that actually helps propel your business forward. So that's what Ignite Link does.
Think about it, how many headlines we've seen where a big corporation is down because one single person went in and clicked some kind of malware. Some person got ransomware and everything, and they're talking about, hey, this company's been crippled for 3 weeks, a month. You see it all the time amongst the biggest customers. We're talking about some local people here that have businesses that may have to have their business go down if something like that happened. They may never recover, but if they had Ignite Link doing that for them, instead of having their own IT department, they just have Ignite Link. They outsource it. Jed's crew, Jed himself oversees that. It might make the difference of, we had to go under, we'll just be fine.
one of the things that we hear a lot, and it's unfortunate that I hear it, but it's like, well, we're so small or we're so insignificant, no one was going to attack us. Well, and I tell them kindly, that is the exact reason they attack you, is because you don't have the defenses in place. You don't have the user training in place. You've got users clicking links and entering personal information, using the same password across multiple websites, from your banking website to your Amazon account. Things like that. And those are the people that get preyed on. Those are the people that end up getting the most burn. If and when those things happen.
Jed, thank you. Thank Ignite Link. Fans, if you're watching, you know someone that can benefit from this. Jed does so much for Ignite Link, and again, Herd fans love doing business with Herd fans, so if someone needs that service, you might as well get it from Jed and Ignite Link.
And just one last thought on that too. When a lot of times people think this is cost prohibitive, but when you compare the price for our services compared to hiring somebody, generally we're less expensive than actually hiring an IT person. And the benefits you get from that is you get an entire team of IT professionals that don't take vacations. I mean, we all take individually vacations, but Ignite Link doesn't take a vacation.
Somebody's covering you 24/7, 365.
Absolutely, and a lot of times, you can't hire an IT person in-house and add the dozen plus pieces of software and tools and things that we use, and get it less expensive going that route. So it's a very cost-effective option for your business. And just give us a call, shoot me a DM, and we can talk further.
KD, let's talk more football. As we get ready to wrap this up on this gorgeous tailgate environment here on the C lot. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts here. We're still thinking very well could be a high-scoring game. We like our defense, as we've talked it through here, to not perform like the defense of, say, Louisiana, of the first half of Middle Tennessee State, or the first 3 quarters of Middle Tennessee State. Maybe not the final quarter of Missouri State. So we're thinking we're going to get out of here with a win today. It's homecoming. We've looked at all of the different, as someone off screen flicks their tongue at me to try to distract me. We're looking at a close to sellout crowd. I went through individual sections here, and there was less than 100 in a lot of the different sections that you had. So we're looking at a big crowd. We're looking at great weather. We're looking at the defense doing better. We're looking at the offense still rolling along. Hopefully all this happens. I wish you were here with us, KD, but what do you got? Final thoughts about this game?
I like our defense better than I like their defense. That's the number one thing. We are not missing our second leading tackle. They are. That you have to account for that. And I'm not sure that you're going to be able to effectively account for that in depth. Think about it in terms of losing a guy like J.J. Roberts off of last year's defense. And what would that have meant in trying to replace that with 2 or 3 different guys?
What a great
analogy. It's still not the same. It's just not the same. I think I like our running back room better than I like their running back room. I think I like our quarterback better than I like their quarterback. And I think I like our wide receiver one better than I like their wide receiver one. So given all of that, give me the Herd. I don't really care what the score is. I do think we're going to put up some points. As we were talking, I'm not sure how many they will score. Will they score 35 or will they score 13? I don't really know. But I think the Herd wins, and not necessarily winning going away, but they will win in front of a packed Jones C. Edwards Stadium on Herd homecoming, going back-to-back at home, getting on the winning side of things, and ready to make that run down the stretch.
Jed, final thoughts on this game?
I'm sticking with my score prediction, 35-24, kind of in line with what you all are saying with our defense performing, and that's the expectation that I have today. Is the defense still getting called today by Coach Tony Gibson? I think we're going to see a better defensive performance against this Texas State team, and that's it. That's all I got.
Guys, we are over here on the C lot with pulled pork, pulled chicken, mac and cheese, baked beans, on and on and on and on. Bill Johnson and Alan with Bill Johnson Catering. You can find them over at Willie's at the Paddock over on 8th Avenue, 448th Avenue. Great neighborhood bar. They also do a lot for the community around. Bill has the kitchen over there, but you can also get him for catering events throughout the year, your tailgates, your whatever you want to do. Bill has brought his smoker over here. He's got a couple of warming tables over here, running it off a generator to keep it warm. So he's got stuff off the smoker, stuff staying warm. You can't beat that mobile ability. All made possible by Landscaping by Hillcrest. Go to landscapingbyhillcrest.com. You can get not just have your grass mowed, not, hey, let's throw down some mulch. These guys do paver patios, fences, water features, outdoor kitchens, pretty much anything you can imagine outdoors they're going to do. They're going to do it better than anybody you ever saw. And like I always like to say, they told me, if we sponsor you for these tailgates, we don't want you to do something half-assed. We want it to be high quality. They do their jobs high quality. We do this tailgate high quality. Come over and get some good food from them. Make sure to pay it forward.
Absolutely.
And KD, Jed, if you guys have nothing else to say, I'm going to shut us down, take us out of here. We're going to finish the rest of this tailgate on this beautiful day.
Nope, I got nothing else. I'm just jealous as hell of you guys, so miss you. Wish I was there down in a couple with you, but this is the next best thing.
Well, whether you see us over at the Jack, whether you see us over at the Dot, or whether you see us right here at the C lot for Jones C. Edwards Stadium, no matter where you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd. It's the ThunderCast, and we'll see you very soon.